Welcome to English Listening Practice Hub. If you're new here, this is where you not only practice English, you also grow as a person. In this episode, I want to remind you of something simple but powerful: your time and energy are the most valuable things you have. Once they're gone, they never come back. So today, we'll talk about how to stop wasting them on people, habits, and situations that don't deserve you. Every day, you wake up with a limited amount of energy, like money in a wallet. You spend it through your actions, your thoughts, and your attention. But here's the truth: most people spend all that energy on things that don't matter. They give it away to drama, to social media, to people who never give it back. And at the end of the day, they feel tired, frustrated, and lost, without even understanding why. If that sounds familiar, it's time to change. Because your life will never move forward until you learn to focus on yourself. That doesn't mean becoming selfish. It means understanding what truly matters to you, and protecting it like your life depends on it. Because it does. The first step is to stop chasing validation. Most people waste their lives trying to impress others. They want approval, attention, and recognition from people who don't even care. You post something online and check how many likes it gets. You tell someone your dream, waiting for them to say, "Wow, that's amazing." But the truth is, you don't need their approval. You only need your own commitment. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." He wasn't talking about money, he was talking about attention. When your happiness depends on others, you're poor. When your peace depends on their opinion, you're weak. But when your mind is your own, when your worth comes from within, you're free. So stop wasting time on people who drain your energy. Not everyone deserves access to you. Some people only come when they need something. Some pretend to care, but secretly enjoy watching you struggle. Some keep you small because they fear your growth. You owe them nothing. The moment you start focusing on your goals, your peace, and your growth, something magical happens: the wrong people disappear. They'll call you distant, cold, or arrogant. But what they really mean is, "You stopped giving me what I wanted." And that's okay. You're not here to please everyone. You're here to become the strongest version of yourself. Focus on building your habits. Focus on your work. Focus on what makes you feel alive. The world will always try to distract you: notifications, opinions, problems that aren't yours. But the person who learns to stay centered in the middle of noise, that person becomes unstoppable. If you want to know where your future is going, look at where your attention goes. Because whatever you focus on grows. If you focus on negativity, you'll attract more negativity. If you focus on progress, even small steps, you'll create momentum. Energy flows where attention goes. You don't have to cut everyone off or disappear. Just start protecting your peace. Start saying no without guilt. Start taking time for yourself without apology. Because people who truly value you will understand. And those who don't, never did. So today, I want you to take a deep breath and remind yourself. Your time is precious. Your focus is sacred. And your energy is gold. Spend it wisely. In the next part, we'll talk about the habits that quietly steal your focus, the invisible distractions that destroy progress before you even notice. Every single day, the world is fighting for your attention. Your phone, your friends, the news, the noise, all of them are competing for one thing, your focus. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life distracted, reacting, jumping from one thing to another, and never building anything meaningful. Most people don't lose their dreams because they're lazy. They lose them because they're distracted. They wake up with a plan, but one notification, one text, one meaningless scroll later, their energy is gone. They forget what truly matters because they let everything else matter more. You can't build focus in a noisy world unless you learn to disconnect. There's a reason successful people protect their mornings. They know the first hour of the day decides the rest of it. If you start your day with chaos, you'll live the whole day in reaction mode. But if you start it with clarity, silence, and purpose, you take control. Every notification on your phone is someone else's agenda trying to control yours. Every time you say yes to something meaningless, you're saying no to something important. If you want to change your life, start by saying no more often. Say no to gossip. Say no to pointless arguments. Say no to people who never bring peace. Say no to wasting hours online comparing yourself to strangers. Your attention is your life, protect it like it's sacred. The truth is, the world doesn't want you focused. Because a focused person is powerful. When you focus on yourself, you become hard to manipulate. You stop chasing trends, and you start creating your own path. That's why distractions exist, to keep you average. To keep you busy but not productive. To make you feel like you're doing something when you're actually standing still. If you really want to grow, you have to train your focus like a muscle. Discipline is not punishment, it's protection. When you sit down to work or study, your mind will try to run away. It will tell you, let's check the phone, let's relax, let's scroll for a minute. But that minute becomes 10. 10 becomes 30. And 30 minutes later, your dream has waited again. You must learn to take your attention back. When you feel the urge to escape, breathe and stay. Remind yourself why you started. Because every distraction has a cost, and that cost is your future. When you choose to focus, you're not missing out, you're building something others will never have. While they're busy scrolling, you're growing. While they waste time comparing, you're creating. While they look for validation, you're earning self-respect. Be okay with being misunderstood. People will say, you've changed. Yes, you have. You stopped wasting time on things that no longer align with your goals. You stopped feeding habits that give you nothing back. Growth always looks selfish to those who don't understand discipline. Ask yourself this. What am I doing that drains me? Who do I talk to that leaves me empty? What do I consume that steals my peace? Once you find the answers, start cutting those things out, slowly, but firmly. You'll feel uncomfortable at first because you've built your life around distractions. But the silence that comes afterward will be powerful. Use that silence to reconnect with yourself. To think. To breathe. To create. Because that's where clarity lives, in stillness. Here's the truth that few people understand. You don't need more time. You need more focus. You already have enough hours in the day, you just give them away to the wrong things. You check your phone hundreds of times, you open your apps without thinking, you react to every noise that calls your name. But your mind was not designed for constant stimulation. It needs space to think. It needs time to grow. It needs peace to create. Focus is your superpower. When you master it, everything changes. Your work improves. Your relationships get better. Your mind becomes sharper. And most importantly, you start living intentionally. The more you practice focus, the more natural it becomes. At first, it will feel hard, like forcing your brain to stay still in a storm. But the more you resist distraction, the stronger you get. And one day, you'll notice something incredible: the noise no longer controls you. You control it. In the next part, we'll talk about how to build that kind of focus in a world designed to break it. We'll learn how to create routines, boundaries, and habits that protect your energy, not just for a day, but for life. Most people don't fail because they're weak, they fail because they don't know how to protect their energy. They say yes to everything, give too much, and wonder why they feel empty at the end of the day. But energy is not infinite. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you keep giving without refilling yourself, eventually you'll burn out. You must learn to build boundaries, not as walls to keep people out, but as doors that you open only to the right ones. Boundaries are not about rejection, they're about respect. Respect for your time, your focus, and your mental space. Because when everything and everyone has access to you, you lose control of your own life. It starts with one simple word: no. A word most people are too afraid to use. They say yes to every invitation, every request, every obligation, not because they want to, but because they're scared of disappointing others. But every time you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you say no to something that does. You say no to your own growth, to your peace, to your future. Learning to say no is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. You don't owe anyone your time, your attention, or your energy. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Some people drain you because they're used to feeding off your light. They only call when they need something. They only show up when it benefits them. And when you need them, they vanish. Let them go. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to argue. Just distance yourself quietly. You'll notice how light your soul feels once you stop carrying people who were never meant to walk with you. Protecting your energy also means watching where your thoughts go. Sometimes it's not people draining you, it's your own mind. Overthinking. Doubting yourself. Living in the past. Worrying about the future. Your mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on how you train it. Every time you start overthinking, take a deep breath and bring yourself back to the present moment. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? If it's not helping, let it go. Peace is not found by controlling everything, it's found by releasing what you can't control. Your focus is like sunlight. When it spreads in all directions, it warms but doesn't burn. But when you direct it to one point, it becomes powerful enough to start a fire. That's what happens when you protect your energy, you stop scattering it and start channeling it. People might not understand at first. They'll say you've changed, that you're distant, that you're selfish. But that's because they benefited from your lack of boundaries. They liked you better when you were tired, distracted, and available for everyone but yourself. Don't go back just to make them comfortable. Growth will always make others uncomfortable. It's part of the process. Start small. Maybe it's spending the first hour of your day without checking your phone. Maybe it's setting limits on who you respond to. Maybe it's choosing silence instead of explaining yourself to people who don't listen. These small acts of protection build self-respect. And self-respect builds power. You'll notice that once you start protecting your energy, your environment changes. You'll attract people who match your peace instead of disturbing it. You'll start making decisions from clarity, not from guilt or fear. And you'll finally understand that your life is too short to live it on other people's terms. Remember, not everyone will like the new you, and that's okay. Your job isn't to be liked, it's to be real. It's to live with purpose, not permission. When you build boundaries, you're not being rude, you're being responsible. Because no one else will protect your energy for you. You must do it yourself. Every no you say to the wrong thing is a louder yes to the right one. The moment you stop giving your energy to the wrong people, the right ones finally find space to arrive. When you stop wasting your focus on meaningless noise, your purpose gets louder. When you stop living for approval, your confidence grows. This is what it truly means to focus on yourself, not out of ego, but out of peace. You're not shutting the world out, you're filtering it. You're learning that your energy is sacred, your time is priceless, and your attention creates your reality. In the next part, we'll go deeper, how to turn this new focus into a clear direction. Because once you've protected your energy, the next step is to channel it into building something extraordinary. Focus without discipline is like a car without fuel, it might look powerful, but it won't move. You can have big goals, inspiring ideas, and clear intentions, but without daily discipline, nothing happens. That's why you must build routine, not as a cage that limits you, but as a framework that gives your energy direction. Discipline is not about doing everything perfectly, it's about doing the right things even when you don't feel like it. Every time you choose consistency over comfort, you grow. Every time you take action despite feeling tired, you build strength. And every time you repeat something intentionally, it becomes part of who you are. The problem is, most people wait for motivation. They say, I'll start when I feel ready. But motivation is like the weather, it changes. Some days it's sunny, some days it rains. You can't depend on it. Discipline, however, is like gravity, it's always there. It pulls you toward progress, one step at a time, no matter how you feel. Building discipline doesn't mean you need to work 24 hours a day. It simply means you decide what matters and stick to it, even when distractions, excuses, or emotions try to pull you away. Start small. Wake up at the same time. Do your work before checking your phone. Read 10 pages every morning. Move your body. These tiny habits look small, but they change your entire identity. Here's something most people forget, discipline is not about punishment, it's about freedom. Because when you're disciplined, you're in control. You're not a slave to mood, laziness, or distraction. You decide what happens. And that's real freedom, the ability to act, not just react. Routine gives your life structure, but purpose gives it meaning. If you don't know why you're doing something, you'll quit the moment it gets hard. Purpose is the fire that keeps discipline alive. It's the reason behind your effort. It's what makes the boring days valuable and the difficult ones worth it. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I learning, working, training, improving? Is it for approval? Is it for status? Or is it because I want to become better, for myself? If your purpose is shallow, your discipline won't last. But if your purpose is deep, if it comes from a genuine desire to grow, nothing can stop you. You must build a routine around that purpose. Your morning should serve your mission. Your habits should protect your peace. Your time should reflect your priorities. Every moment you waste is a moment you steal from your future self. The most successful people in the world don't rely on luck. They rely on patterns, systems that keep them focused. They plan their day before the day begins. They remove decision fatigue by creating rituals. And because of that, they don't waste energy choosing, they use their energy creating. You need to become intentional about your time. Don't let days just happen to you. Make them happen for you. Before you sleep, ask yourself, did I live today with focus? Did I spend time on what matters? Did I move closer to my goal? If not, tomorrow is your chance to fix it. Discipline isn't built overnight, it's built moment by moment. Every time you resist distraction, you're training your mind. Every time you choose progress over comfort, you're rewriting your story. And every day you follow your routine, your future becomes more predictable, not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. But discipline without balance is dangerous. You must rest, recover, and breathe. You can't burn yourself out chasing productivity. The goal is not to do more, the goal is to do better. To be fully present in whatever you do. Protect your mornings, schedule your focus, rest with intention, and don't negotiate with your excuses. They sound convincing, but they're lies. They exist to keep you safe, not successful. The truth is, nobody becomes disciplined by accident. You must choose it every day. You must choose yourself every day. That's the secret of growth, small consistent effort over time, done with purpose. In the next part, we'll bring everything together, how to stay focused long-term, stay grounded when life gets hard, and how to keep walking your own path even when no one supports you. The hardest part about focusing on yourself is not starting, it's staying consistent when everything around you tries to pull you back. Because the moment you begin to change, the world starts testing you. You'll lose people. You'll lose comfort. You'll lose the version of yourself that used to make everyone else happy. But that's the price of growth. Growth doesn't come with applause. It comes with silence. It comes with long nights where you question everything, mornings where your body is tired but your soul keeps whispering, keep going. That's how you build strength, not by being inspired once, but by refusing to quit 1,000 times. You have to learn to walk alone and still feel complete. Because the truth is, not everyone can go where you're going. Some people are meant to be chapters, not the whole book. They'll leave when your growth no longer serves them. Don't chase them, your journey isn't meant to please the past, it's meant to build your future. When you focus on yourself, you'll realize something powerful, peace costs distance. You can't grow in the same places that made you feel small. You can't heal in the same environment that broke you. So let go, not out of hate, but out of love for the person you're becoming. It's okay to disappear for a while. It's okay to not explain yourself. You don't owe anyone an update on your progress. Sometimes the best thing you can do is work in silence and let your results speak for you later. The quiet seasons are not punishment, they're preparation. That's where your discipline sharpens, your focus deepens, and your confidence builds. You may feel invisible, but trust me, the world always sees those who master patience. Focus on your goals every single day, even when nobody's watching. Because when it finally pays off, everyone will think it happened overnight, but you'll know how many battles you fought in private to get there. Consistency is not about motivation. It's about identity. It's about saying, "This is who I am now." Even when you don't feel like it, you act according to your values. Because that's how you transform, by repeating the behavior of the person you want to become until it becomes natural. When life gets messy, stay calm. When people doubt you, stay silent. When you doubt yourself, keep moving anyway. Because emotions change, but action builds results. You don't have to feel ready, you just have to begin. Sometimes you'll look around and realize no one understands your path. That's fine. You're not meant to be understood by everyone. You're meant to be respected by those who see your dedication. And that respect starts with you, when you stop making excuses and start taking responsibility. No one is coming to save you. No one will do the work for you. You're the only person who can decide what your life becomes. And the day you accept that truth, you become unstoppable. Stop trying to control what others think. Stop waiting for perfect timing. Stop doubting whether you're good enough. You are. You've just been distracted too long to realize it. Every day is a chance to take your power back. Wake up earlier. Move your body. Feed your mind. Work in silence. And watch how everything starts to shift, not overnight, but gradually, consistently, powerfully. You'll notice that the more you focus on yourself, the less you need from others. You'll find peace in being alone, strength in being misunderstood, and confidence in being consistent. Because the person who can be alone and still grow, that person becomes unstoppable. When your friends start losing focus, when people around you give up, when they tell you it's too hard, remember why you started. You didn't come this far to quit halfway. You didn't fight through all that pain just to stop when things get uncomfortable. Everything you want is waiting for you on the other side of discomfort. You will outgrow people, jobs, and places that no longer align with your purpose. It might hurt, but it's necessary. Growth is not comfortable, it's transformation. And transformation always demands a price. Sometimes, the price is silence. Sometimes, it's distance. Sometimes, it's learning to love yourself even when you feel unlovable. But no matter what the cost, never trade your peace for popularity or your dreams for comfort. Your future self is watching you right now. 10 years from now, they'll thank you for every hard choice you made, every distraction you ignored, every day you showed up when no one else did. They'll thank you for not giving up when things felt impossible. Because that version of you will exist, and they'll be stronger, wiser, freer because of what you're doing now. So, keep going. Keep fighting. Keep believing that your time is coming. Because it is. Every storm eventually ends. And when it does, you'll stand in the sunlight knowing you didn't quit when it was dark. Keep focusing on yourself. Keep protecting your energy. Keep moving, even if it's slow. Because one day, everything you've worked for, all the pain, the discipline, the silence, will make sense. And when that day comes, you'll look back and realize you weren't wasting time. You were building the life you were meant to live. The goal is not to live a life without problems. The goal is to become the kind of person who can't be broken by them. When you focus on yourself long enough, something powerful happens inside you, you become unshakable. You stop reacting to everything. You stop explaining yourself to everyone. You stop letting small things destroy your peace. And instead, you start observing life with calm awareness. You understand that not everything deserves your attention, not everyone deserves a reaction, and not every situation needs a response. That's what strength really looks like, not loud confidence, but quiet control. It's the ability to face chaos and stay centered. To hear criticism and remain calm. To experience failure and keep moving forward without losing faith. Life will always test your patience. People will say things that hurt you. Plans will fall apart. You'll lose opportunities, face rejection, and meet disappointment. But each of those moments carries a hidden gift. They teach you detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. You stop expecting the world to always make sense. You stop expecting people to act the way you want them to. You learn to give your best and accept whatever comes after, success or failure, peace or chaos, loss or victory. When you reach that point, nothing outside of you can control you anymore. Because your happiness no longer depends on what happens, it depends on how you respond. That's the secret of power, emotional stability. Most people live like leaves in the wind, moving wherever circumstances push them. But you are not a leaf. You are the tree. And trees don't run from storms, they bend, they adapt, and they survive. That's what it means to be unshakable. The stronger your roots, the less you fear the wind. And your roots are your values, your routines, your purpose, and your belief in yourself. When those are solid, no external chaos can destroy you. Start every day reminding yourself of what you can control and what you can't. You can't control what others say. You can't control the weather, the economy, or time itself. But you can control your focus. You can control your attitude. You can control your effort. And that's more than enough. When you stop chasing control over everything, you free yourself. You gain energy to build instead of worry, to grow instead of complain, to act instead of fear. People might call you cold or distant, but what they're really seeing is peace. Peace that comes from not needing to explain, not needing to prove, not needing to fight every battle. You pick your battles wisely, and most of the time, silence wins them all. You'll start noticing something strange. The things that used to make you angry will no longer affect you. The opinions that used to break you will sound like noise. And the problems that once felt impossible will now feel like small tests you know how to pass. That's the reward of self-focus, emotional strength. You start moving with patience, speaking with intention, and acting with clarity. You stop rushing and start trusting. You stop fearing time and start using it. And slowly, you realize, you've become the person you once needed. This is the moment when life begins to change quietly. You no longer chase energy, you attract it. You no longer chase people, the right ones stay naturally. You no longer force progress, it becomes your rhythm. That's the power of focusing on yourself. You don't need to announce your evolution. People will feel it. They'll notice how calm you've become. How certain you sound. How nothing seems to shake you anymore. And you'll smile, not because you've reached perfection, but because you've finally reached peace. Silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. Most people waste their power by talking too much, reacting too fast, and listening too little. But those who know when to stay silent are the ones who truly understand control. Silence gives you space to think. It lets emotions cool before they turn into mistakes. It turns arguments into lessons, pain into perspective, and chaos into clarity. The strongest people in the room are rarely the loudest, they're the ones who listen, observe, and choose their words carefully. Every moment you stay silent, you gain something. You gain control over your emotions. You gain the power to understand before responding. And you gain the ability to see things others miss because they're too busy reacting. Observation is your secret weapon. When you stop talking, you start noticing body language, tone, energy, patterns. You see who respects you and who only pretends to. You see who listens and who just waits to speak. You see how people reveal their truth when you simply let them talk long enough. The world trains you to speak fast, post fast, react fast. But wisdom grows in slowness. In reflection. In watching. The person who can pause before acting is always in control. Start practicing silence in your daily life. When someone offends you, don't rush to defend yourself. Not every attack deserves a response. When someone doubts you, let your results answer for you. Silence creates mystery, and mystery creates respect. You don't owe anyone explanations for your boundaries, your goals, or your peace. Explaining too much is another way of seeking validation. You don't need to convince anyone that your journey is worth it, you just need to walk it. Silence also helps you listen to yourself. When you stop filling every second with noise, music, conversations, scrolling, you start hearing your own thoughts clearly. That's when your intuition gets louder. That's when your direction becomes obvious. The world outside will always be noisy, but inside, you can create peace. Observation turns that peace into power. Watch your own behavior. Notice when you procrastinate, when you lose focus, when your energy drops. Those moments teach you more than any advice ever could. You can't change what you don't notice. Awareness is the first step to transformation. Watch others too, not to judge, but to understand. When you observe people long enough, you start seeing patterns. Who keeps their word? Who avoids responsibility? Who talks big but never acts? This knowledge protects you from repeating the same mistakes with the same types of people. Silence and observation build emotional intelligence. You stop reacting from ego and start responding from understanding. You no longer get pulled into drama, because you see it coming before it starts. And when you do speak, your words carry weight, because they come from thought, not impulse. In silence, you find strength. In observation, you find clarity. Together, they make you dangerous, not in a destructive way, but in a peaceful, powerful way. Because a calm person can't be manipulated. A patient person can't be provoked. And an aware person can't be fooled. The art of silence also teaches you humility. You realize you don't have to have an opinion about everything. You don't have to prove you're right. You don't need to win every argument. You just need to protect your peace and use your energy where it truly matters. Remember, silence is not the absence of power, it's the concentration of it. Every word you don't say becomes energy saved for your purpose. Every argument you don't join becomes focus kept for your mission. And every distraction you ignore becomes progress made toward your goals. So, learn to be silent. Not because you're weak, but because you've finally realized that your time, your words, and your attention are too valuable to waste. Let your peace be louder than their noise. Let your results be your response. And let your silence be your strength. Self-control is the foundation of every strong life. Without it, your emotions become your master. With it, your emotions become your tools. And that's the difference between chaos and peace: who's in charge, your feelings or your focus. Most people think strength means lifting heavy things, winning arguments, or never showing emotion. But true strength is quiet. It's being calm when others panic. It's thinking clearly when your mind wants to explode. It's choosing peace when anger feels easier. You can't control what happens around you, but you can control what happens inside you. That's real power, not reacting to everything. Not letting people pull you into their storms. Not losing your peace just because someone else lost theirs. Life will test you. You'll meet people who trigger your anger, situations that hurt your pride, and moments that shake your confidence. When that happens, stop and breathe. Don't let impulse make your decisions. A few seconds of patience can save you hours of regret. Every time you stay calm under pressure, you grow stronger. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you level up. Every time you let go instead of forcing control, you become freer. The secret is understanding that emotions are temporary. No feeling lasts forever, not anger, not sadness, not even happiness. They come, they pass, and they leave behind lessons. If you learn to pause before reacting, you give yourself power over that moment. It's not about being emotionless, it's about emotional intelligence. Feel deeply, but don't drown. Care honestly, but don't cling. Love fully, but don't lose yourself. That's balance. That's mastery. Self-control also means managing your habits. Discipline doesn't just happen once a day, it's in every small decision. It's in what you eat, how you speak, how long you scroll, and what you allow into your mind. Every action either feeds your focus or feeds your weakness. You decide which one grows. When you stop living on autopilot, everything changes. You start noticing the small choices that shape your entire life: waking up late, skipping your goals, saying, "I'll do it tomorrow." Those small decisions build momentum, and momentum builds identity. Each choice is a vote for the person you're becoming. So, if you want to become stronger, start mastering the small moments. Wake up when you say you will. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Don't wait for motivation, rely on structure. Because if you can't control the little things, you'll never control the big ones. The more control you gain over yourself, the less control others have over you. No manipulation works on a person who knows their emotions. No distraction tempts someone who knows their priorities. No insult hurts someone who knows their worth. That's the goal, to become untouchable, not because you're cold, but because you're centered. You know who you are. You know what you want. And you know that no amount of noise can move you from your path. When you reach that point, peace follows you everywhere. People around you start to feel your energy. They sense that you're not easily shaken, not easily distracted, not easily broken. And that's when you become magnetic. Because calmness in a chaotic world is rare, and rare always stands out. Self-control also gives you clarity. When you're not reacting emotionally, you start seeing solutions others miss. You stop wasting time complaining and start finding ways to grow. You stop running from problems and start facing them with logic. You stop saying, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" Every struggle becomes a teacher. Every disappointment becomes direction. And every mistake becomes an opportunity to master yourself even more. That's how warriors are made, not in comfort, but in control. The real fight is not against the world, it's against your impulses. The person who masters that battle wins every other one. Remember, you don't need to prove your strength to anyone. Just stay calm when life tests you. That silence, that patience, that self-control, that's your proof. Your mindset is the root of everything. It's not your body, not your job, not your background, it's your thoughts that shape your entire reality. If your mind is weak, even small problems will break you. If your mind is strong, even great challenges will make you stronger. Everything begins and ends in your head. Before you quit, your mind gives up. Before you succeed, your mind believes. Before you change your life, your mind decides that it's possible. That's why mastering your mindset is the ultimate skill. It's what turns pain into fuel, failure into feedback, and discipline into identity. Once you learn to control how you think, nobody can stop you. You have to train your mind every single day, just like a muscle. You can't expect to think strong if you feed your brain with weakness. What you watch, what you listen to, and who you spend time with, all of it becomes your mental diet. If you consume negativity, you'll think negatively. If you consume discipline and strength, you'll start living that way too. Every thought you repeat becomes a belief. Every belief shapes your behavior. And your behavior creates your future. That's why you must protect your inner dialogue. The way you talk to yourself matters more than anything else. If you keep saying, "I can't," your mind will prove you right. If you keep saying, "I can," your mind will find a way. Your brain doesn't care what's true, it believes whatever you tell it repeatedly. So feed it powerful thoughts. Remind yourself that you're capable, even when you doubt it. Act like the person you want to become, and your mind will catch up. Challenges are inevitable. But the mindset you bring to them decides how they end. Two people can face the same storm, one breaks, the other bends. The difference isn't luck or talent, it's mindset. It's the belief that no matter what happens, you'll find a way through. You can't control every situation, but you can always control your perspective. When you start seeing problems as lessons instead of punishments, life changes. When you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this?" every struggle becomes a teacher. An unbreakable mindset isn't about ignoring pain, it's about finding purpose in it. It's about saying, "Yes, this hurts, but I'll grow from it." It's about trusting that everything that happens is shaping you for something bigger. You build that strength through repetition. Every time you keep going when you feel like stopping, your mind adapts. Every time you finish what you start, even when it's uncomfortable, your mind becomes tougher. Resilience is built one decision at a time. Stop waiting for easy days, they don't build warriors. The hard days do. The lonely days. The days when you have no motivation but keep going anyway. Those are the moments that rewrite your identity. To build an unbreakable mindset, you must also stop expecting perfection. Failure is not the end, it's data. It's feedback. It's a sign that you're trying. Every failure teaches you how to do it better next time, if you're humble enough to listen. The people who win are not the ones who never fail, they're the ones who never quit. They fall 10 times and get up 11. They learn, adjust, and move again. That's mental strength, not blind optimism, but relentless persistence. You don't have to feel confident to act confident. You just have to start. Courage comes from doing, not waiting. And confidence grows from keeping promises to yourself, small ones, repeated daily. Say you'll wake up early, do it. Say you'll work out, do it. Say you'll study, create, build, do it. Every time you keep a promise, your mind learns that your words mean something. That's how self-respect grows. That's how confidence becomes natural. A strong mindset isn't built in comfort, it's built in consistency. It's built by doing the uncomfortable things so many times that they stop feeling uncomfortable. The gym, the work, the silence, all of it becomes your normal. That's when you realize you've changed. And once you reach that level, life feels different. You stop chasing motivation. You stop fearing struggle. You stop waiting for permission. You just act, calmly, consistently, confidently. Because when your mind is unbreakable, your life becomes unstoppable. When you finally learn to focus on yourself, something magical happens, you start to feel free. Not the kind of freedom that comes from having money or fame, but the deep, quiet kind that comes from peace of mind. The kind that can't be taken away by people, circumstances, or opinions. Freedom begins when you stop chasing everything that doesn't matter. When you stop begging for validation. When you stop trying to fit into places that shrink your spirit. You realize you were never supposed to please everyone, you were supposed to become yourself fully. You don't owe the world an explanation for why you've changed. You owe yourself the honesty to say, I'm not who I used to be, and that's okay. Growth looks selfish to people who never grew. But you can't hold yourself back to make others comfortable. You weren't born to stay small. Real freedom starts with letting go. Let go of grudges. Let go of expectations. Let go of the need to control everything. Control doesn't create peace, acceptance does. When you stop trying to control how people see you or how life unfolds, you stop suffering. Peace is not found in perfection, it's found in surrender. It's an understanding that some things will never make sense, and that's fine. You don't need closure for everything. You don't need to fix everyone. You don't need to win every battle. Some things deserve silence more than reaction. Focus is freedom because it simplifies life. When you know what matters, decisions become easy. When you know who you are, opinions lose power. When you know your purpose, distractions lose meaning. Clarity is peace, confusion is chaos. And clarity comes from solitude. Take time alone. Turn off your phone. Go for a walk. Listen to your thoughts. Ask yourself what truly matters and what you've been doing just to avoid emptiness. Silence is uncomfortable at first because it reveals truth, but truth is what sets you free. Most people are scared to be alone because they don't like who they are without distraction. They need noise to avoid their own thoughts. But if you face yourself honestly, you stop fearing loneliness. You realize solitude isn't emptiness, it's connection with yourself. Freedom also means forgiving yourself. For the times you wasted, the mistakes you made, the people you trusted, the chances you missed. You can't build a new life while carrying the weight of regret. Learn from it, bless it, and let it go. You did the best you could with what you knew then, now you know better. Forgive others too, not because they deserve peace, but because you do. Holding anger only keeps you stuck in the past. The people who hurt you are no longer worth your energy, they already took enough. Don't let them keep your peace too. The more you focus inward, the more you realize how little you actually need. Most of what we chase, approval, comparison, status, means nothing when you have inner peace. You stop living for others, and start living from truth. You no longer try to impress, you express. You no longer seek attention, you seek purpose. And that's when everything changes. Because the world can take almost everything from you, money, comfort, relationships, but it can't take your peace if you protect it. And that peace comes from focus. From doing what matters. From living by your own values, not society's noise. You don't need a perfect plan to find peace. You just need discipline, awareness, and courage to let go of what's not for you. Focus on what makes you feel alive, and remove what doesn't. That's real freedom. You're not meant to stay the same. You're supposed to evolve. To grow, to rise, to shed your old layers and become the version of yourself that once felt impossible. That's what life is about, not perfection, but becoming. Becoming takes patience. You won't see progress every day. Some seasons will be slow. Some lessons will hurt. But everything, the struggle, the silence, the waiting, is shaping you for something greater. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in uncertainty, in discomfort, in the moments where you have to choose between staying safe or stepping forward. And every time you choose growth, you become stronger. Becoming also means accepting that some parts of you will have to die for new ones to live. Your old habits. Your old excuses. Your old self-doubt. You can't hold on to who you were and expect to become who you're meant to be. Change requires release. It's okay if people don't understand your journey. It's not for them. They might call you distant, arrogant, or obsessed. But that's what focus looks like to the unfocused. Keep going anyway. You don't need motivation, you need consistency. Because motivation fades, but consistency builds character. You'll never always feel ready, but readiness comes from doing. The more you act, the more momentum you create. You must remind yourself daily. Your effort is never wasted. Every small win matters. Every step forward counts. Even when it feels like nothing's working, your persistence is planting seeds for future success. It's all adding up quietly, preparing you for the moment when everything clicks. And when that moment comes, it won't be luck, it'll be the result of everything you endured. Every late night. Every lonely morning. Every time you chose discipline over comfort. That's when you'll realize you were never stuck, you were growing roots. So stop doubting yourself. Stop asking if it's worth it. It is. Because what you're building isn't just skill, it's character. And character is what carries you when life tests you again. Becoming means never stopping. There's no finish line to growth. You're not supposed to arrive. You're supposed to keep learning, keep evolving, keep becoming more of yourself. And one day, when you look back, you'll see that every hard choice, every risk, every painful lesson was necessary. You'll see how everything made sense in the end, not because it was easy, but because you refused to give up. That's what it means to focus on yourself. Not to be selfish, but to become your best, for yourself, for your purpose, for the people who truly matter. Keep becoming. Keep focusing. Keep building the life that feels right, even if nobody understands it yet. Because the people who stay focused when others quit are the ones who eventually inspire the world. And one day, someone will look at you and say, "You make it look so easy." They'll never know how hard it was, and they don't need to. Because you'll know. You'll know what it took, what it cost, and why it was worth it. That's the power of becoming, turning your pain into peace, your focus into freedom, and your growth into legacy.